Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grace and Truth Podcast. My name's Taylor Bacon. I'm the Associate Pastor at Grace Resurrection Methodist Church.
And I'm James Williams, Senior Pastor.
And in this week's episode, we are talking about what does Christianity actually teach about what comes after death? And is it more than just going to heaven? So let's dive into this week's conversation. This has got to be one of my favorite topics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've talked about it twice this week already with people.
Oh, wow.
And
I hope that's not a sign.
I hope not either for those people. And I think I'm going to rope it into my sermon that's coming up.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because
Yep.
I'm preaching on one of our scripture references, which is Revelation 21, 1 through
You're
5.
doing our last revelation.
Yes.
sermon.
Yes. And it's it is the best for last. I
So
think
by the time this comes out, you will have preached what?
yeah, I would have already preached
few
it. So
weeks
you can
ago.
go back and listen to it
Yeah.
and see what I did, what I thought. But I think this actually ties into the theological undertone of that sermon. And that's what actually happens when we die. Do we go off to the clouds and walk the golden path into this majestic kingdom where St. Peter is waiting at the gate? Like, is that sort of folklore what actually happens, or what? What what do you think? Where do we start?
Well, you can have all kinds of conversations about symbolism in Scripture. And I have been asked many times about, do you believe there are really streets of gold in heaven? I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that heaven is probably indescribable, which we tried to describe it the best we could, and the biblical writers have, but I think it's probably indescribable. But I do know, after being in ministry for 30 years and being in the room with many, many people who die, that there is definitely something after this life. I could never be convinced otherwise because of my experiences with people who are dying. And people who work hospice will tell you the same thing. They are believers because they see what happens at the end. And there is this transition from this life to the next.
Mm.
So I absolutely know there's something more, and I think it looks most like what we read about in Scripture, but we don't really know exactly. But there is that part that you just have to have faith that there is a life after this one.
Yeah, which I think is what makes people most uncomfortable about it.
Oh,
is
yeah,
because it's so
sure.
unknown and there's quite a bit of ambiguity around it. So people are, well, I don't know. What if? What that? And again, to try to conceptualize eternity is difficult, impossible.
Yes.
So that just hurts your brain. So what I hear you saying is we've been taught that heaven is a place that we go to that's in the clouds, streets of gold, but you're saying maybe not, that there is somewhere we go, but there's a more accurate biblical picture. What does that biblical picture look like to you?
Well, I believe that heaven is a place that will not, I don't believe it's going to resemble this physical world.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think that is because I believe that this physical world was created to support our physical bodies. And we're not going to have physical bodies in heaven. We're going to be spiritual bodies. But yet, God did it in such a way that is very comforting to me, because it does say that we will know each other. You will be known as you were known.
Mm.
And so that's a beautiful, beautiful picture of what I think God has created for us that we have to wait for. It's very beneficial, but it's a beneficial that He's chosen to make us wait for when that time comes. I would not even try to describe what heaven looks like, Taylor. I would not even make an attempt. I don't believe that, the pearly gates and all that stuff. I just think those are descriptions that help our physical brains try to figure out what that looks like. But what I will say is that I think it's going to be a beauty that's indescribable. Like I was saying, it's not, you're going to not be able to put it into words. And Revelation is probably the closest thing we have to it. And again, I think John was receiving revelation that he was trying to describe with a physical brain.
Right.
And so that's just kind of
Doesn't
where I
even
am
capture
on it.
part of it. Yeah. And I think so. One sort of description that we have comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 14. In verse 2, it starts, "My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going."
Yes.
So it definitely is suggesting that there's a place to go, that there are, again, maybe physical rooms, maybe not, but that you definitely have a place there.
Yeah.
So moving away from the physical description of heaven, and if we go to more of a spiritual idea of it, I was talking with someone the other day, one of these conversations, and this kind of goes along with our last episode when we talked a little bit about creation and time and everything like that. He said, I think that when you die, it's like this deep, peaceful sleep.
Yeah.
And then when the new heaven and the new earth, which we'll get to in a second, arrives, then that's heaven.
Yes.
That heaven exists right now in the spiritual, like God exists in his place.
Yes.
But the final place has not been prepared yet. He's working on it.
Yeah.
But when you die, if one day is like 1,000 years, that place could be instantaneous for you when you die, which supports you saying, I've seen people are crossing over into something.
Yes.
Not that you have to think about that to have a well-rounded understanding of the afterlife, but I think it helps.
Well, I don't think we do, but it is an interesting topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's helpful too to have some picture in our minds of what that may look like. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Someone asked me not long ago, we were talking about cremation before we started the podcast today. And someone said, well, it says that the bodies will come out of the graves in Scripture. So if you're cremated, that's not going to be able to happen. And I said, well, that's not going to happen anyway, because I think I've read about it for 18 to 20 years, the body is pretty much ash anyway in a casket. So, the body disintegrates no matter whether you do cremation or buried in the ground, it decomposes. So I think that's also a very symbolic spiritual explanation that our souls will be rejoined on this earth when Jesus finally returns. I'm not sure how that happens. I don't know. I tell people a lot of times, they'll say, well, do you believe in the rapture? Yeah, I do, but I'm not sure how to describe it. I mean, there's only one place in Scripture where it says, we'll meet him in the air. So you could kind of use that. But the word rapture it didn't come about till 1940s or something. But I tell people, I'm not worried about how Jesus is going to come back. I'm not worried about when he's coming back. I just know he's coming back, and I'm going to be ready, and I'm trying to help other people get ready. So I think that's the healthiest way a Christian can live. It's interesting to talk about these things, but there really are no answers. I do know that there is a life after this one, absolutely. But I'm not worried about what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I think the scripture that supports what you were just talking about comes from 1 Corinthians 15. It says, so will it be with the resurrection of the dead. The body that is sown is perishable. It is raised imperishable. Mm-hmm. So this idea that the bodies we have now are perishable, but the bodies that we will have in the afterlife are not.
That's right.
It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. Mm-hmm. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power. We will just be almost opposites, but very positive opposites of what we are now. So I guess to wind this down a little bit, if we're going to talk about the afterlife and we're going to talk about heaven, I think we also have to acknowledge hell.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think that's where most people's questions come from, especially when you read throughout the Gospels, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Mm-hmm. I think that's at the end of almost every one of Jesus's parables in the Gospel of Matthew on the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
The other place, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And in the original Apostles' Creed, I think, Or was the Nicene Creed? He descended into hell. I think
That's
it's the
right,
Apostles'
yeah.
Creed.
Yeah.
That makes people really uncomfortable. They're like, "What?
Yeah.
What do you mean he descended into hell? Like, what is
And
hell?
I believe he did.
Is hell absolutely? If you're going to conquer death, you got to go where death is."
That's right.
And so there are two popular streams of thought. Hell is a physical place where people are tortured for eternity. The other school of thought is that hell is just eternal separation from God.
That's right.
Where do you fall? What do you say to people who have questions around that?
I'll say it the same way I said it a second ago. So I don't worry about what hell looks like or where it is. I don't have to worry about it because I'm never going to be there. I just don't worry about it. I just don't worry about it.
Wow, that's good.
I don't worry
Confident.
about that. I'm serious. I don't worry about it. I do know that there is a place that is called hell. And I would say, is there a physical hell? Well, really, there's not heaven's not a physical place. So hell's not a physical place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spirit. They're spiritual places. And I'm not even sure what all that means. But I do believe that hell is separation from God. Hell is separation from God, plain and simple. And hell was not created for human beings. God never created it. He created it for the fallen angels and Satan. Those are the only beings that are supposed to be there. However, there will be choices made by human beings to go there. God doesn't send anybody to hell. You make that decision on your own. So I do think hell is real. And I just don't want to ever go there.
Yeah, and
I've been told to go there a few times.
Oh, well, that's going to be on this podcast later.
Yeah.
We're going to bring on James's worst enemies.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're going to repeat those statements.
I have no enemies.
Yeah, you're right. 0. And so, but I think where this is all going, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I think that's actually probably the question that if someone saw this and they clicked on it, this episode, that's what they want to know.
Yeah.
We've heard everything about heaven. People kind of know the folklore around it, but what about
we humans
hell?
are interesting beings. We ask a lot of questions that don't really matter, which is kind of fun. But the bottom line is God's in control of all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, God is ultimately in control.
Absolutely.
I mean, no matter what it talks about in Revelation 21, the new heaven and the new earth, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If we have the faith that what God says is going to happen, then no matter what happens right now, what's to come is, and that's a whole other, there's so much around this. I love the topic so much, but we only have
a
little bit of time.
We have 20
we're
minutes
restricted
to talk about eternity.
But
talk about arrogant.
I think the point is to have a robust theology of the afterlife.
Yeah.
Dramatically changes how we live our day to day.
Oh my, yeah.
You're living in anticipation, you're living with hope, you're living with gladness, and it doesn't make the bad things of this world go away.
And that is the key, Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
The word you just used, hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Heaven is about the hope that we have that this thing is going to be okay. If we say yes to Jesus, it's going to be all right.
Yes. Again, not making the bad things go away, but making them just a bit more tolerable.
Yeah.
Because what you're looking towards, what you're looking forward to is, as we've covered, indescribable, unbelievable perfection. It's a restoration of what's described in creation. Yeah. And I think that'll give anyone, if you believe in it, I think that'll give anyone hope to endure.
If heaven is going to be better than me sitting out at my koi pond, it's going to be pretty great.
Your fish.
Even though your daughter, Mary Nola, would not go look at my fish.
Yeah, well, she's scared of things,
the other day. She's scared of fish. I tried to get her to go look at them. She wouldn't. She said, Pastor James, you can go look at them. I said, thank you. You can go look at them.
That's your heaven. That's not my heaven.
But seriously, when I'm sitting out there, I'm thinking, this is really great. And if heaven's much better than that, I'm going to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we hope this conversation's been meaningful to you, and we hope that you'll share it with others so that it can be meaningful to them. And as always, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and on our website at graceresurrection.org. And we'd love if you continue to join us each week on our next episodes of the Grace and Truth podcast. But until next time, may the good Lord bless and keep you.
Until we meet again.